Feed me.
Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. The Ryback Show starts now.
Welcome to the Ryback Show Live. I am the big guy, Ryback. Appreciate all the Rybackers out there tuning in, stopping in for the live, streaming live, Instagram and TikTok, the big guy, Ryback20. Greatly appreciate it. TikTok, thank you. We hit over 2.9 million. We shot past it yesterday. Is that doing the live at one of my posts go up to, I think it's up to 2 million, 1.9 or 2 million. And then it stopped, it slowed down. And so that's nice to get a post on there going again. So I appreciate all the love and support. 3 million's right around the corner, and keep rocking and rolling. Hopefully grow the Instagram now that seems to be being seen a little better. Nowhere near what it needs to be, but at least some stuff is doing okay. And so that's promising as well. Ryback TV over here on YouTube, always streaming live. Your questions, your answers, your super chats are brought up on the screen. Health, fitness, supplementation, mindset, pro wrestling, life, anything and everything in between. We're streaming live on Twitch at Ryback Rules, and also on Twitter. We do a live stream that we keep up for a few days over there at Ryback. Podcast is available on all podcast platforms as well. Your iTunes reviews are always greatly appreciated. This podcast is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. No harmful artificial sweeteners or colors, vegan friendly. Available on feedmemore.com. And what's this? We're going to do a little plug real quick.
Hey, Rybackers, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and shell shock those notifications for the best supplements on the planet with Feed Me More Nutrition and all the latest cool new Ryback merch. Visit feedmemore.com.
All right. Thank you guys for watching that. We'll be plugging that in at the end of every show as well. I actually got to probably get that reformatted to fit the whole screen. But, we're just throwing some things in here. Little feedmemore.com. So check that out. All the coolest, latest new Ryback merch. And we're waiting for the new website to get done as well. And I can't wait. We're gonna be moving forward and continuing to try to grow this thing and get bigger and better and get in more places. And keep giving you the best supplements on the planet. All right, let's get to some questions here today. I'm doing my 24-hour fast. Bill, it reminds me of Ryback rules. You can rule too for $24.99 on feedmemore.com. That music though, the high energy. When I was listening to that when the team did it, I was laughing. I like it a lot, but it reminded me a little bit of that. I could see me doing a voiceover. I should actually make another one. I'm actually going to send one to my guy. I'm going to do a recording and have him plug it in with another little video that I could throw in. That maybe that will be the plug for the middle of the show, and then I'll have the one at the end of the show, and then I do my upfront plugs with that, and then have a quick little teaser in there in the middle, because not everyone stays through for the whole show, right? With that, so. Because at the end of the day, that's my business, and that's what everything revolves around. And then I make myself available to you guys to try to help as much as I can on anything, answer your questions. Sometimes it's just pro wrestling nonsense. And I say nonsense in the sense of like just answering sometimes some repetitive questions, which I actually enjoy with that as well, because it is whatever you want to ask, right? But I do dig when we get stuff outside of that a little more as well. And it's always good. Some shows I'm like, yeah, that was a really nice show. And others I'm like, yeah. It's just all the ebb and flow of the show goes where the questions go. Derek, the oil boy, today is go Ryback. Do you know David Otunga? Are you asking if I know if David Otunga uses oil, or Derek, the oil boy? I am concerned that you're obsessive nature of always asking about pro wrestlers and baby oil. I know it's your dream and your passion to be an oil boy for the team WWE, but you know, yeah, a lot of people telling me a lot of random facts today. Did I know that Adam Sandler and Kevin James are great buddies? I didn't know that, but I'm not shocked. Two funny guys. I like both of those guys a lot. I've never thought Adam Sandler was like absolutely hysterical, but I've always liked him. He's not like I don't know what it is, and this isn't like being. I don't laugh at his stuff, but I enjoy watching his stuff, if that makes sense. Whereas other people, like Kevin James, will make me belly laugh, and then there's other comics that are just hilarious to me. Adam Sandler, though, like Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite movies. Billy Madison, I really enjoyed Billy Madison, but I'm not like I don't know what it. I just don't. I don't. He doesn't make me laugh, and I don't heard that from other people. But like, I'm not like the type where like I can't watch you. I just don't. I don't necessarily just laugh from it, but I am entertained still. It's an odd phenomenon, that Adam Sandler. But I know there's a lot of people that absolutely think he's hysterical, and it's not that he's not funny. I don't know what it is. There's just something, and everyone, we're all different, right? You know, and but yeah, Kevin James, though, King of Queens, loved him in that. Paul Blurt, was it Paul Blurt Mall Cop? Love that movie. Let's see here. Do I remember Big Show and Kane? Yes, I'm 40 years old, guys, and I still look like I'm 32. Right? I'm not like 80 years old. And then even then, if you're asking me this at 80 years old and I'm doing the Ryback show, and you're like, "Hey, Ryback, do you remember Kane and Big Show?" Unless I have full blown Alzheimer's, and which at that point, if I'm doing the show with Alzheimer's, we're in trouble. But like if you're asking me that, like that's the only way I'm probably not going to know. Or if like I had suffered a concussion for the first time in my life and immediately go, I'm going to go do the Ryback show while I'm concussed. And then you go, "Hey, do you remember Big Show and Kane?" I might go like, "Who's that?" But like me, normal me doing the Ryback show, not that far removed from everything, asking me if I remember Big Show or Kane, like, yeah. Just to answer your question. Ryan Douglas, good. What was the Skip question? What was the Skip Sheffield character supposed to be based on when you started NXT in 2010? So again, I've talked about this. I was Ryback prior, and Dusty Undertaker. I cut a promo on Undertaker. CM Punk and Undertaker and some other people were at the FCW arena one day. I was doing Terminator Ryback. I remember I just spent like $500 or $600, which was a lot of money in developmental, on new. It might have even been more than that. That's just what I feel like I remember on this particular gray Ryback pants, leather jacket with the spikes, and there might have been one little other little forearm pad with that. But the jacket was really expensive. The vest was expensive to make because you had to pay for the vest and then get the work done on it, which takes a bit of time, especially when you're not up on the main thing. And I didn't have that. It was just the connection that I had. Looked great. But I remember I had that done, and I wore the new gear, and I cut a promo on the Undertaker, and I always Dusty. I was used really well, but that was before there was something. Undertaker went to Dusty, and I don't know if they thought it was a Terminator-based character was too gimmicky, which at the time, and I'm just being honest, I thought it was completely odd that a guy that was playing the Undertaker, and as much as I love and respect the Undertaker, thought a Terminator character was too gimmicky. That had gotten over previously, but I'm okay with that because I would much rather the evolution of me, and I was really mad for like one day, as anyone, like, you got to change your character. And I had a meeting with Dusty, and I go, "Well, what do you want?" I go, "This is like, what do you want? You guys hired me as Ryback. Like, this is like," And he goes, I want you to be like, because they were hiring like some football players at the time, and a lot of them would come in for tryouts, and they didn't know pro wrestling, and so he goes, I do know pro wrestling because I grew up loving it and watching it, right? And Dusty goes, I know. He goes, you have a funny side to you, and he goes, I want to try to tap into this funny side because he goes, you've done just serious stuff since you've been in the system, and he goes, I know I know you're a funny guy. And at the time, though, I was much more reserved. I wasn't as outspoken, but I was funny around people that I was comfortable with, right? Or attempted to be for the people. You're never funny, Ryback. And he goes, I want you to be one of these big dumb football players that come in that doesn't. He goes, you just a big dumb football player, and he goes just like a corn-fed meathead, happy-go-lucky, and so, like baby face, and that was, and so he gave me enough that I went home and I was thinking, and I was watching a WWE match, and he goes, come up with a name that's kind of a little silly, but a real name. And so I instantly thought of this guy Skip that I knew, who was in the fire department, and when I lived in McDonough, Georgia, my first year in Deep South Wrestling. He was the nicest guy in the world, but he had this big, mean, very similar look to me, but he was older. And you could just tell, like, this guy was a real, like, he was a tough guy. But everybody loved and respected him, and his name was Skip, and people would call him Skippy. So that always stuck in my head of, like, the friendliest name for the toughest guy. And I go, Skip, Skippy, Skip. And then I'm watching a WWE, so I had Skip in my head, and I didn't know what. And I've always been big on the names that too, like, Ryan Reeves, Ryback Reeves, whatever you like. The double R. I like names that with the first and last of the same letter. And I'm watching a thing and on WWE, and it had a commercial on the DVD that I had for Sheffield, England, for whatever time period that was one of the older DVDs, and from an older pay-per-view or something. And I go, Sheffield. I always loved Gary Sheffield, the baseball player. And then I go, Skip Sheffield, Skippy Sheffield, Skip Sheffield. And then I just kept saying the name to myself. So, and I don't know how much time I had. I maybe had a week to come up with this before the next promo class. And then in the shower one day, I'm in there, I'm just thinking, Skip Sheffield. And then in my head, I remember Nick Mitchell, the guy who was Mitch on the Spirit Squad. I lived with him briefly. He came from Tough Enough as well. When he lived with me, he always used to go, "What it do? What it do?" He was from Texas, Beaumont, Texas. So he'd always be, "What it do? Ain't my problem. What it do?" Whatever it was. So I go, "What it do?" And damn, that's maybe the voice. And so then I started practicing in the Skip Sheffield voice. And I go, "What it do?" And I started thinking, like, I wanted a catchphrase, and the Land Before Time, the little dinosaur, and I just go, yip, 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 what it do? And then it just all started snowballing from there. So I had enough with that right there. For promo day, I throw on a pair of Wrangler jeans, some brown boots, and that I never had worn, that I'd had forever. And I went to the St. Petersburg Super Walmart. I go to their Dickies section, the Mexican like Dickies section over there in whatever, and they had this I think it was a Wrangler cowboy hat, or a Dickies cowboy hat, and I think it was a Dickies cowboy hat, but it didn't fit my head all that well, but it felt like Skip Sheffield would have a hat that didn't fit exactly right. So I show up, and I had this big metal chain I put on, and I show up to promo class, and everybody's in there like wondering, like, what is the character that I'm gonna debut for Dusty in promo class, and so I have my shirt off, and I bring butter spray in with me, so I'm going into character in the back in front of everybody, like getting into character, like everybody. So everyone's kind of popping because I'm spraying all this butter spray all over me before it's even my turn. And I'm getting in, like, I'm getting in the zone for this character that I'd never have done in front of anybody. And I go up there, and I don't know if it was like a 60 or 90-second promo. And I have a notebook of all the Skip Sheffield stuff, and along with a bunch of Ryback stuff. Because we used to type everything out and be very diligent. And I talked about that on another episode, that Dusty really, really helped with all of that and helped me. And I remember I got a standing ovation that day, and Dusty put it on TV right away and booked me very strong and very good. As a comedy character, though, that a corn-fed meathead, happy-go-lucky, dumb football player, which there's some stuff with me and Titus doing like some football things. They had Titus O'Neil was brand new, and they had me do a little tag stuff with him early on to get him kind of in the mix. And then I went on and did all my solo stuff. And then he got me called up to NXT season 1. Vince saw me and in the ring. And Vince said, yeah, you're not going to be doing this. So I need you to get away from this, but not right away, but start getting away from this character. And he goes, you're going to make me millions of dollars just being yourself. And so then I was really upset again, believe it or not, like upset. And like, I was like, I didn't know who I was yet, because I was playing a character that was part of my personality, my comedy personality, but that was just my comedic side turned up. And then I'd lost, you know what I mean? But then Nexus happened, and I was able to be me, being more, I think, like the intense side of me, right? And not doing the comedy stuff. And then after the ankle injury, and then that's where I really found myself as a human being, I think. And I knew who I was prior, but I found myself on who I could be as a professional wrestler, which eludes so many wrestling talents. It's the hardest thing, I think, to actually, and that's why I'm always grateful for the way things happen. And like now, I understand myself now a million times better than I even did when I was in WWE and had my success. I understand who Ryback is in so many other levels, and with the hungry mindset and feed me more and making that, you know, and I had that before, but I didn't understand it to the degree that I understand it now. So that's who Skip Sheffield was. So a little bit of Skippy is my personality. Super chat, Ryan Wooldridge. His last name always gives me trouble. Wooldridge. Ryback, what was your first car that you bought? My parents, I'm very lucky that in high school, I was fortunate enough, they bought me a Daewoo Lanos. They're out of business now. They make TVs. They decided to get into the car business at some point. Why? I don't think it was not an overly expensive car, but I was very grateful. It was kind of like a Honda Accord, maybe, kind of how it looked. It wasn't the hatchback. It was the regular trunk. But if you type in Daewoo, Daewoo Lanos, Lanos, with the regular trunk, it was a silver gray Daewoo Lanos. Maybe I'll post it on my IG story so everyone can go look at it. What I used to go, being all big and jacked, go driving to the gym, and when I was younger, and but it had a turbo. It was a four cylinder, had a turbo button. I tell you though, when I was in high school, and even a little past that, when I was on the freeway, I'd hit that turbo button. I felt like a big deal. I did. I look back, I chuckle to myself, but you know, me and that Daewoo Lanos driving down the 95, going down to the strip to go meet up with my friends, I'd hit that turbo button, or I'd had a date in the car, and I'd hit that turbo button, put a little heavy foot on that gas, hear that engine rev. I was a real badass. We got another super chat rolling in here today. JC 1989, thank you for the super chat. Do you know if any of the enhancement talent you beat during your undefeated streak in 2012 ended up having successful wrestling careers afterwards? Ended was giving me a lot of trouble there. I kept wanting to say ending up, but you had it correct. Ended up having successful wrestling careers afterwards. Obviously, and I didn't wrestle him, but Ricky Starks from the bullying segment when I went heel and he was one of the locals that I bullied. I think by far he has turned out to be the most successful out of everyone. But as far as from your question, that undefeated streak in 2012, which all those guys were so amazing that worked with me on all of that. I don't know, and I know there's some of them that I believe are still working, but I don't know. I haven't seen that, like, as far as like on the big promotions, but that doesn't mean that they're not doing well on the independents or doing some other stuff. And I'm sure a lot of them probably aren't working as much anymore, right? So, but I'm not aware. I don't know off the top of my head who would have the most success. And by that, I guess who someone would be on TV, right? I guess that, but Ricky Starks is out of anyone that did the stuff. He's come into his own, and it's funny. I saw Ricky. He randomly was at my gym that I say my gym, one of the gyms I would go to, LVAC, my gym. And, but I live all the way up away from everything. And I don't know what he was doing here in town. This was years ago. And he was just doing independence and we just were talking, and I was shocked to see him. And I just remember we were talking about burpees. And I was just saying, like, if you get really good at burpees, your conditioning, like, you could do anything. As far as like it will greatly help you. And I remember he just said he really worked and did a lot of burpees. But I just remember that because that was a conversation we had in the gym and seeing him. And yeah, man, he's on TV and he's come into his own. He has his own. He's doing really, really well. I'm very happy for him. He's a very nice guy. Ryan, that would be correct. So basically, Skip Sheffield was supposed to be like a goofy character, but Vince didn't. Hold on, these questions. But it was supposed to be a goofy character, but Vince didn't like the idea, and then you just had to be yourself when the Nexus formed in 2010. Yeah, and then I was starting to be. That was Nexus. Skip Sheffield was essentially just Ryback. But with the stupid name. And I say stupid name, and that was, I don't think Skip Sheffield was a main event name, but I do believe if I would have not had like the ankle stuff, I think we probably would have just dropped the Skip and just called me Sheffield. And I think that's probably would have been, because I just knowing how my brain works as well. And then you see how Vince and they go to the single names. I think that would have been the way out of the Skip Sheffield. And but again, everything, I've always been protected, and even in a horrible situation like that, so much good came from it. Super chat. Froman 696, feed me more. Question: when you get everything done and figured out, what wrestling promotion do you think you are more interested in going to? Again, I'm not going to, here's the problem, guys. And we live in a world. So I'm just taking care of business. I've been very transparent on the things that have gone on, and the legal stuff is being worked out. They know what they need to do. And by they, WWE, they know what they need to do. All right. I'm not, and we live in a world though where people, and you got like people with other dirt sheets, and they try to do things and take things, and they'll say if you say one thing, and they'll try to take it and make little things out of it, it's all going to work itself out, and I will end up where I end up, right? But I'm not even looking at that until the settlement needs to be taken care of. That, or I have to the trademark, I'm going to win it, and that. I'm completely committed on that right now while running my business and getting this all resolved. And and I don't need to win the trademark, like I said, but I'm going to go all the way to the end, and like I will win it. And I'm beyond confident that we have more than enough to win it. But I don't need that trademark to wrestle as the big guy Ryback and I have Feed Me More. I have the big guy, and I'm legally Ryback Reeves. But they know what they need to do, and there's stuff going on. They did so, and we'll leave it at that. And if they want me to stop talking, they know what they need to do for me to stop talking. It's so personal on so many levels for me, and I know a lot of people don't. You got to understand the things that I've talked about and things that have been done, and I tell you guys, I don't care about my wrestling legacy. I know who and what I am. I know I am an absolutely outstanding pro wrestler, physical actor, entertainer. I have no doubt, in my confidence in any of that, in my abilities with any of that, and that's why. And I keep myself in shape, and I work harder now than when I was even wrestling to stay and to try to get myself to be my all-time best when I do come back with that. And I'll just have to go out there and go do it. But I'm not worried, man. And it's all going to take care of itself. That's why I say don't listen to anyone. Don't believe anything. It's like the people that, I tell about the phone call that I got last week, and that people will try to say that you're delusional, you're a liar. I just laugh. I'm just saying, you guys don't even know. That's why people, and you look at it throughout the history of the wrestling business, you guys think all I've done is just told the truth on everything. There's so many other people that have done so much far worse with any of that. And at the end of the day, they know how much money I made them. So outside of that, other places don't know that, but they do. And they know what they did to stop all that. And it all is because of everything I've told you about. So, and it's funny the way injuries happen. People are gone. They look at their roster and they go, yeah. And this is a very real thing. And I just sit back and I smile because I don't care. I don't care. And until I go, you guys want to talk? We can take care of this. Then we could talk. Right? So, and I don't owe it to anybody. I don't owe it to the fans. I owe it to myself to take care of me because I'm the one that got myself better. 19 stem cell procedures with the 5, needing a 5-disc fusion and shoulder replacement, and the amount of hours I put in every single day and the amount of hate I've had to deal with, and that I can just laugh at now from all the lies and all the BS and people that don't understand what I'm sticking up and fighting for, trying to get my social media free. I'll end up where I end up, and I'll be in control. And that's it. If not, I won't do it. And I don't care. That's just my mindset. I'm so good. Just in life. And I'm so content and at peace. I want to do it. I love it. I have a great time doing it. I miss the adrenaline. There's definitely, I do miss the good fans and the things of that nature, but I don't need it to live a satisfied, happy, content life. Absolutely would love to wrestle Brock. He's on the list. Jason says, through it all, you remain confident and humble. I don't see any anxiety traits at all. Crazy thing is you're going up against a corporation, a mega one at that. Much respect, 100. Thank you. But you want to know what the tough part was? The tough part was wrestling there for my career and living that nightmare. I survived that with a positive attitude. And I think that to me was the toughest thing of working your whole career to get there and to get in a position, and then realizing and learning later, why the things that were going on because of all the legal stuff. And right. So I've survived the worst of it. This stuff is all I do is just tell the truth now. And I know, and they lie. And that's what, once I saw that in the leaving and once I saw what they were doing, on the publishing things on different media things. And I go, oh, that was frustrating with that because it wasn't true. And then people have formed opinions off me based off of those, and that it is what it is. But if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I'm so untouchable on stuff. There's nothing anyone could say to me on things now, because I've had so much self-development and work on getting myself to such a strong place to where that stuff, I'm untouchable from it, and just have a constant body armor and shield where it doesn't penetrate me. Whereas before, you're angry because you want to do something about it, and you're hurt, you can't go wrestle, you're hurt that, and then all this stuff is happening, and you want people to see you, and you work really hard to learn social media, and your accounts are being restricted. It could drive a person, most people probably crazier to give up. I just always find a way to look at the positive and try to work harder in a different direction of what I can control. Doesn't mean I don't get angry or things or don't have anxiety at times. But I've always have a sense of control over myself. But I appreciate it because they are a very large corporation. But I believe I've been put through what I've been put through because I'm the one that can handle it. And I think a lot of positive changes will, come from it. I would love to be able, and I think about this often. I do believe in what I have to offer wrestling wise, but I do believe I can be very beneficial from a creative standpoint. And I'm of the kind of my mindset, like having a person like me around, I think is something, like WWE will say. And as much as I think it would drive me crazy in a way, I do, think it's important. They need more people around that are not afraid to speak up. And I'm not afraid to speak up on that. And it's because they need to build more stars. And I'm very keen living it like I lived it. It's very easy to see when they're going out of their way not to do that. And that people need to stand up and go, no, we're not going to do this. We need to like Elias should not have lost his first pay-per-view against Kevin Owens. And I understand Kevin Owens needed a win after the Stone Cold thing. You know what you do? You don't book those two in a program to begin with because you need to know the outcome. And it again, now if they're going to continue the program and he's going to get the win eventually, okay, maybe with that. But I think you have to know that going in. We've seen this all too often, like a guy, Ezekiel, I said Elias, but playing Ezekiel now. They will do that, and then they'll beat him, and then they'll beat him again, and they'll beat him again, and they'll go, oh, he's not getting over. No, he's not getting over because you're not letting him get wins. And not to say everyone that wins is going to get over. You have to gauge this. You have to look at merchandise sales. You have to look at crowd reactions. You have to look at numbers and analytics. You have to look at the ratings. Are his segments delivering? Are people tuning out consistently? And you never just go by one. You look over this over a period of time, and you try to find patterns with this stuff. And they have the ability to do this, right? Now, if everything's coming back negative and his segments every week, but that stuff needs to be relayed to that character, that talent, so they could maybe make some changes to try, you know what I mean? But like oftentimes nothing's ever said or nothing makes sense. And a character is getting over or it is starting to catch on. And then they beat him a few times because they never really knew what they were going to do to begin with. And then he really kind of falls out of the focal point of what's going on. And then he's just another guy on the roster, doesn't really do anything. A year later, he's released. See it all the time with that. But that's where individual talents also have to be very keen and aware of the booking. But you got the way that things are run is upsetting. And that's where I think I'm just getting at. Like, I do believe, I wish things would be better and where I could help on that end of things too, because it needs to be done with that. But it's not my problem. It's not my problem right now. I did like working with Kalisto. Kalisto's a very talented wrestler, and it was a lot of fun to wrestle. Throw a super shell shock right there. Yeah, I'm not in WWE, and I have no idea where Roman Reigns is right now. He's probably at home with his family. And I don't know if he still lives in Florida. But I know he used to live in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And but I don't know what he is doing or where he is at. He might be getting ice cream with his family right now. Maybe he's on a beach having a drink with his wife. I don't know. I think it's a lot to be thinking about that, like asking me, what's Roman Reigns doing? Where's he at right now? Could be at a Mexican restaurant stuffing his face with burritos and chips and salsa. God, I wish I was there too. Super chat. Let's go ahead and throw another shell shock. Get that mark out of here. Bam. Sonny Lamont. Good to see you, my man. Yo, big guy. Good to see you. Good to see you too. I've been busy. How's your health? You ready to get back in the ring? Yeah, I'm feeling very good. Got a little more work to do, and the main thing is getting this trademark settlement, whatever's gonna. I need to get this wrapped up. I need to get that done, put behind me, and then we could focus on the future and moving forward with that. And in the meantime, I'm running the Ryback show. We've got the Feeding Time food reviews and Feed Me More Nutrition morning to night with all of that. So that's just kind of been the pattern, and taking care of Sophie and little guy and training my ass off every day, and just really amping things up more every week. Today is my one day of total rest. When I do my fast, where I let my shoulder, I don't do any scar tissue work. I don't do my shoulder hangs, and allow it to just calm down. And then tomorrow is a big cardio day, and then cardio and sauna day. And then the week starts going Monday. We're actually going to probably start going back to 5 days a week of weights, because I've been doing 4 to give my shoulder a little extra rest. But my masseuse, my massage therapist, is back next week as well. So because she had to stop working for a short period, and so I haven't been able to see her, who's helped me get to where I am. So we will continue our sessions on Saturday next week, and just keep this thing moving in a positive direction. Yeah, I like Bobby Lashley a lot. I think we just talked about that the last podcast. Hold on, let's see here. Good to see all of you. Hello, hello. Throw another shell shock at Kill Switch, get him out of here. Thank you for playing. Yes, I do know Bray Wyatt. Yes, we'll just leave it at that. I do know Bray Wyatt. Really deep questions today. All right. I didn't realize this. Ajib Musan, you're going in timeout for just repeatedly. I answered a Bobby Lashley question. We're putting you in timeout. Let's go. No spamming the chat, even if it's with a decent question, but doing it over and over, because you make it annoying. Let's see. I do remember the match with Daniel Bryan and Kane against the Shield. That was in Brooklyn at Tables and Ladders. And was it TLC? Wait, what match was that? What it was that? Yeah, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, right? If I'm not mistaken. I think that was the one that was supposed to be me versus CM Punk in a TLC match, but he'd hurt his knee and he needed to have it scoped, which had nothing to do with me, but they used me as because we had the storyline. And I think that's where a lot of people too, they've used me multiple times in storylines for injuries. And that's where I remember I started getting a little bit of hate. And I remember thinking like, man, these people are pretty ignorant. Super chat. Josh Colin, good to see you. Thank you, my man. What do you think was the main reason why you clicked so much with the crowd in mid 2012? Was the catalyst your intensity in the ring? I think I've always been able to click with the crowd. I don't think it was just 2012. I think if you look, especially like live events, and it was always that. But that first year and a half was really, really intense. I think it's energy, and I think that can be relayed through your intensity. I believe it's through your confidence, and I believe it's just how you conduct yourself. And I think it's how I wrestle. I think I wrestle a very believable style. I think when people watch me, that it looks like I hurt people badly, and I think people are drawn to that. And that's where I always. And I was taught very good on how to be intense and how to pull up and do things, and I think that plays a part with it. And I think everyone understands Feed Me More. I've always said the basic. And I think, it was such a meaningful thing into changing my life and the hashtag hungry mindset and wanting more. That I think you could, from babies to adults, feed me more. Everyone understands that. Whether you understand it in the figurative or literal sense, like you understand it in some way, shape, or form. And initially it was more competition, but for me, it feed me more in life. I want more of everything. I want, more health, wealth, love, just balance everything. It's just always striving for more. That's the hungry mindset. And, and I think people understand that. I think people understand that. I think I missed a super chat here. Hey, Sophie, we're doing a show. She's a really good guard dog, little Frenchie. You have disc disease. You don't even know how to bite. She would just lick somebody if they ever attempted. I can't say it. I'm on TikTok. Never mind. What I would do. Javon Rhodes, thank you for the super chat. You and Punk is money. The history is there. I would buy the pay-per-view. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. There is a story there. I'll find the other super chat, buddy. I think I saw the other one. Yeah, we'll go ahead and Cricket. We're going to go ahead and shell shock Cricket out of here. Appreciate you coming in, Cricket. Hold on, we got to get these comments back up. I don't know why the comments are not loading. There we go. We're back. Let me see where I missed that other super chat. Good question here. Sonny, good to see you again, buddy. Sonny Lamont. Your thoughts on the recent rise in gun violence? I haven't looked at the statistics. Sophie, come here. Cool it off. No, you stop. I think we have to have an understanding of is there a rise in gun violence, or are we being just social media, or is the media focusing on it more? Now, granted, with the Texas shooting, and that's going to be covered regardless, but are they covering other ones a little more to kind of, you know what I mean, to start distracting people? And I'm not saying, I do believe there's obviously a problem. There always has been with that, and there's a bad people problem with that as well. I've been of the stance, and I talked about this on one of the Feeding Time videos a couple weeks ago. It would be great if we could truly get rid of every gun on the planet, right? It would be great, but there would be other weapons available for people. And the reality of the situation is you're never going to get rid of every gun on the planet. The next thing is do you trust your government? A lot of people don't trust the government anymore and the way that the world is working. And I do believe that it is, and this is coming from someone who doesn't like guns. I have them, and I got them for security and protection, because if somebody has them and I don't have them, I'm at a disadvantage, right? I believe, like, I'm not like against, like, and I've seen like things, and I have an AR-15. I have one upstairs. I've got a 45, I've got a 22, and I've got a shotgun. With the raising the age I've seen of the AR-15s to 21, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I'm not opposed to that. I don't think, because that's not taking away guns from anybody else. But I don't think that solves the problem of people still doing what they're doing. I think, could it maybe have a little bit of an impact? Absolutely. But I think these people that we see, my thing is with the school shootings with kids, these people are going in there to these schools because they know that there's nobody in there that's going to stop them, right? And so I believe, because you got to put yourself in the mind of these people. Why are they going into these places where people, the Buffalo one, right? They went into a place where they have strict gun laws they knew people didn't have. So you got to look at stuff from a security standpoint. Is, somebody's gonna, not to say that they still won't go attempt it, but the odds of them being shut down are far greater if other people are equipped and trained and or carrying. But again, and that can create other problems as well. But we're looking at it. It's a very difficult thing. And at the end of the day, though, I just say, are we going to get rid of all the guns on the planet? And or if we do say, are we going to get rid of all the guns in the United States? The answer is no on that. And then you got to look at other countries that have weapons. Now, are we at risk and a disadvantage if, for whatever reason, something were to happen at some point in time, and we are not armed? Right? I don't know. I just look at things. I just think the world's a crazy place, and from the beginning of time, evil has existed. And people will find a way to do evil at any cost, regardless of what is available. But I do think that it has to be, each individual school. I think there needs to be something, and that comes into the schools, in trying to find, retired veterans or people, and maybe, and they're just, we're parents. I know a lot of people that don't work, that people, they have no problem that they would, creating a program where there are people essentially monitoring the school at all times. And in that, you talk about this and it could seem like it's like, oh my God, that seems like that'd be really complicated. I don't think it would be overly complicated if there was a program put in place or implemented in each school, and you try to just start taking steps to that. But I don't know the actual statistics if like guns violence is on the rise, or if we are just seeing it in the media a little more right now. Obviously, and you look back to the school shootings, those have happened how many times now? So that's nothing new. But this was the worst one in quite some time. I think you got to look at, this is where I tell you guys, we've been putting Band-Aids on everything for too long. We've got a prescription medication problem with big pharma putting kids on pharmaceuticals. I know people that they're all messed up mentally, that are on all these like prescribed drugs, and they are a complete mess. And so that's that's a problem. So, but we are living this now, and that stuff was going on. This all started this isn't just recent. This has been going on now. That's why you see the crazy Karens out there. They're the women that are hooked on these prescription drugs, and they're drinking also. And you ever notice, you see somebody go, how could they act that crazy? It's because of that stuff. And then on top of that, you do just have people that are crazy too in general. But you're seeing like this weird stuff. You look at the food, how people eating more junk, eating processed foods, messes with people's moods, on top of prescription drugs, on top of living in a day and age where everything is connected, and you have social media, and you have kids that are bullying other kids. People, we all look at that. Everybody's fair game on this, but can you imagine being a kid in middle school or elementary school or high school? And before, like when I grew up, if something was going on, only that certain amount of people would know about it in the school. That was it. Other schools wouldn't know about it, not other people, not your family members, right? So like there's all this other stuff that has changed in where you're dealing with problems that didn't exist before at a much higher level, on top of the things I just mentioned, and it creates just chaos. And it's that I'm saying, you can get rid of all the guns. It's not going to solve anything. It's not. Like, people will find another way. And they'll do things in other ways. And people have vehicles. People we see do a lot of damage and do damage with vehicles, right? Are we gonna get rid of every vehicle? Can't, right? So that's where it's like I understand. And like if you're a parent of a kid or somebody that's a victim in one of those situations, you're going to be much angrier, and you might be very pro, we need to get rid of guns, but at the end of the day, you're going to go, well, but like, it's not going to bring them back, and it's not going to solve the problem entirely, and it's going to open up a whole other can of other problems. So it's like, security to me is where I wish we could take more proactive steps in having armed security in more public places. I wish every gym had a security armed security and metal detectors. I think about this stuff, like, you know, that costs a lot of money, and most businesses can't afford that. So it's like, what's the solution? It's just, you know, hopefully people open carry, and people, if someone bad does choose to do that, there's someone good that is there that can stop them. But man, it's not an easy conversation, and nobody's wrong necessarily on their intentions of what they want. It's just, you have to look at things realistically in that sort of sense. And like I said, you're never going to, you ban guns, there's going to be a lot of bad people with guns still. And they can make guns illegally, and they can go do the damage they need to do. And it ain't going to, you know what I mean? It's not going to go away. It's just going to take all the guns away from the good people with that. So it's a tough thing. It's a tough conversation. And, you know, I just say we got to try to keep a positive mindset, protect our energy, and try to have good thoughts, and believe that we're never going to find ourselves in a particular situation like that. And try to just be grateful for every day, and protect our environment and surroundings, and take care of our families, and be consciously aware that no matter where we go, that you don't want to drive yourself crazy with anything, but be just consciously aware that anytime we choose to go out in public, we aren't in our homes anymore, and you never know who you're going to encounter, right? So I think if more people are just aware of that, whether you're going out for lunch, that we live in a world that can be chaotic, and at least you're being more aware of your surroundings, that if something is to happen, you are able to catch it and see it. You're right. And it's not to say that's going to solve anything, but at least be more aware. But yeah. Good to see all of you. Thank you. India, we're going to go ahead and let me see here. Yeah, make guns more strict to get them. I do agree. I do agree that they think that there are steps that can be taken to make them more difficult. But again, like I said, the problems that we just talked about with some people, you know, they may be able to get one in 5 years down the road. You know, a lot can change. I think too, having periodic checks is something. Periodic mental health checks for gun owners. I don't think that's a bad thing, right? Every couple of years, 2 years, every year. That maybe every year would probably be the most sensible thing. Is that there's just has to be, you have to go in person, and there has to be some sort of protocol, right? And that these people are trained, and if they are see maybe something that could be alerting, they have to take action, at least to investigate the individual further, right? I don't know, but it definitely, I think, not against that. Brother, I don't hate you. I just don't care about you. And I just wish you would just go away forever. That's all. You've been blocked again. I think it's just crazy how obsessive some people are. Javon Rhodes, thank you for the super chat. As a man, I have a right and obligation to protect my family. Guns are not bad. No respect to people that decides to commit heinous acts with them. Yeah, I agree with you. I understand. I understand completely. I'm with you on that. And it's not an easy. I don't think anybody is. It depends on what side of the thing you're on, right? But I don't think getting rid of them, taken away from good people, is the solution. I'm with you on that. And and just to give another example, and say that they tried to do that, we have to give up all of our guns, and then say somebody breaks into our house and they illegally have one, and now we don't. right? That's a very realistic thing that will happen to many people. It's crazy. So, and then it's just, I don't see it ever happening here. I think that's one thing Americans are going to come together and be extremely passionate about, where that will not happen. But I do think making things a little tougher for people, or more frequent checks, there has to be some sort of solution in that, in some way, shape, or form. Good to see you, Walter Double W, in the house. Let's see here. Let's see. The low blow was meant to protect me of that. It definitely was good and bad. It would have been good had we followed through, and I ended up winning the championship. And if you noticed, when I turned on Cena, what people thought, when it looked like I actually got cheered even more when that was supposed to be the big heel turn on Cena. I just think I already knew what was going on, and it had been in the works for some time. So we've talked about that. I just don't care to talk about it anymore, because it's just been talked about. It's like beating a dead horse with it, right? So it is what it is. Yeah, Raven says there'll be a black market for guns. Absolutely, I agree with you. Hello, hello. Good to see all of you guys in here in the chat today. I've not had Jollibee fast food. Yeah, prices are going up, though, on everything that we've seen. Gas, groceries. My groceries have gone up probably $100 for what I buy, from what used to cost about $100 less is $100 more. So, and then gas, obviously, it continues to go up. And, I'm fine. But I look around at, like, people with families, and I was just talking to someone, a friend. She was saying her rent, and I know this is going on in a lot of apartments. They're price gouging. It's really bad. Apartment rent at one place went from 9 something a couple of years ago, or a year and a half, maybe a year. It's now like 1,600 for the same place, and they keep raising it every short. So, like, even if you sign a 6-month or a year lease, they just keep raising them and raising them and raising them, which I think should be illegal. There has to be some sort of protection for people, their families and apartments, and like even people renting, that you can't just raise the rate, just whatever you feel like you're out. That's a very scary thing. I just saw somebody, I live in a very nice neighborhood, homes range 5, 6, 7, 8, 900,000 up to $1 million in the area, right? And I just saw somebody getting their car repoed the other day. I go, geez, very nice home. And it's crazy with the times we're living in with all of this, what's going on. And I really hope things stabilize and things are able to start correcting themselves. But it's pretty scary that it seems to be getting worse. I went ahead and blocked you, Sammy. I don't appreciate you just asking questions over and over. I have been to Venice Beach, yes. That's where WWE Tough Enough took place. It was on Venice Beach. The tryouts for it. I miss you guys too. Thank you very much. I work for a collection agency and business is never better for us, but sadly that means most people are hurting. Yeah. I know a woman that works in collections and billing and things, and was saying something similar as well. It's just absolutely, it's pretty crazy what times that we live in, and it makes me want to sometimes move. I just sell and get away and just be out in the middle of nowhere. I talk about that often, I feel like, but at the same time, I do love Las Vegas, and I was born here, and I do love it. But it's I'm optimistic everything's gonna at some point get better, but at the same time, there's a chance that it doesn't. So Ryback all the way. As far as it's me, man. Ryback is me. Skip was fun, but Ryback is fully. I just enjoy. Much more true to me. Hello, hello. I didn't have my dogs when I was in WWE. My girlfriend had her dog, and then we got another one towards the end, and she would watch them when I was on the road, with that, and that was, and we lived together for a good period of time. So, but it would be much more, difficult. You have to have somebody able to watch the dogs. If you have dogs, you can't be gone wrestling for 4 or 5 days a week, or gone for weeks at a time, and right. So that has to all be figured out. Judah, get out of here with the religious BS, man. I'm just so sick of it. No, brother, get out of here with that. People have been saying that forever. I'm not even going to get into that. Just save your opinion and don't put it here. You say pray, like he's like you're the God. Like, it's just so silly how religion, the whole concept of it. Sophie and little guy they eat ground processed food processor chicken and turkey with vegetables, and then they get a mixture of brown and black rice with pinto beans every morning with that food that is in a processor, and we bag it up really good. And we're gonna go ahead and throw another quick block, and then they get that every morning, and then they get some fruit as well. They are more plant-based, and they eat fruits and vegetables throughout the day, and a little bit of chicken too. And then they get their greenie every morning after their food, and they eat better than most people. they do well. Hello, hello. Let's see. Let's end the show. Do we have a good TikTok? You're my little bro's favorite wrestler. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, buddy. I will say this: I've noticed, and this happens on Twitter a lot. That I love interacting with people, but I feel like people just constantly just want to keep, like, you say hello to somebody, and then they will, like, always ask for a follow. I'm not trying to follow everybody. I unfollow. Like, I'm trying to get my followers down on Twitter. But I always see that if like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, hey, can you follow me back? I'm like, I don't know you. I don't want to follow you. I don't want to see people on my page. And that's nothing against you. Like, I'm not trying to have, there's one of me and a lot of other people, right? Like, I try to not only follow people that I genuinely actually know with that. Hello, hello. Ryan Wooldridge. We'll end the show with one more question. We get this, what I feel like, pretty regularly. Ryback, have you thought about fighting in MMA? No, not even, never has been a thing. and I am a pro wrestler, a physical actor, and I run a business. And I think that is, I do the training, and I look forward to doing the training more with that. And I think the MMA training is very beneficial. It's a lot of fun. I love it with that, but it's, I don't see, I'm making money. You know what I mean? And I've worked my whole life. I understand and am very good at pro wrestling and what is physical acting. And it's the toughest job in the world that I don't ever like. I'm so secure with myself too. Like I'm not like, I don't feel like the need to go prove anything on that. Like I'm not compelled to at all with that. And I don't think it would be like the people that do it get out of it. Like, you know, it is brain damage. Do you think that's worth it to go do that and then you live your life like a vegetable, like the majority of them? I think it's a horrible way to have to earn a living, but I understand why people do it. It is fun and exciting. I love watching all the fights with it, but it's a very, you know, dangerous way to earn a living with that. And, you know, if you're young and you don't have any other way to earn a living and you do it and you are good at it, you know, that's a more viable option for people. But even then, it's just, you see, for every person you see that makes it in that, thousands and thousands and thousands that you never hear of that don't make anything, that end up hurting with nothing. So it's, you know. All right, guys. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show. I've got to continue on with this fast, get some work done, and enjoy my day off. But it's been a pleasure as always. Make sure you check out my Feed Me More Nutrition on feedmemore.com. We'll throw in that sweet plug to end the show here when we're all done with everything. And appreciate everyone streaming on Instagram and TikTok, joining the live stream. Swing over to Ryback TV and subscribe and turn on notifications, guys. Let's keep growing everything here. And until next time, stay hungry, my friends. Feed me more.
Hey, Rybackers, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and shell shock those notifications. And for the best supplements on the planet with Feed Me More Nutrition and all the latest cool new Ryback merch, visit feedmemore.com.